Okay, so I am in school and I have a huge dream of becoming a home birth midwife, but my path there has been kind of rocky and unsure, and I'm just not sure that it's what I'm supposed to be doing. And I feel like if it's meant for me, it's going to happen, but it
Hmm.
hasn't happened yet. So I'm kind of just in a place where I can go so many different ways right now, but I just don't know what's right for me. And I just want to, I guess, get some guidance as to how to know and self affirm that I'm doing the right thing, because it's really
Hmm.
important to me that I pursue something where I'm helping people and something that I really love to do. And just, I need something to fill my cup. And
Hmm.
I just need a little advice.
All right, I got a couple things. First off, tell me what's the rocky part? What do you mean rocky?
So, in order to become a home birth midwife in New York State, which is where I live, and a bunch of other states, you have to go to nursing school and become an RN.
Hmm.
And I've never been super called to the allopathic way of medicine or birth. And
Hmm.
so, in order to do that, I've had to agree and learn a bunch of procedures in a way that I don't feel is right. And I
Hmm.
just don't know if I can do that for another 3 years. So,
Okay, so all right. Number one, something I know about you already. You have a very strong intuition,
mm,
right?
yeah.
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 And so, what's happening to you? You're kind of like, well, it's a very similar situation. So you're going through school,
Mhm.
and you're going, yeah, this whole school path, the way they're going down, this doesn't line up.
Yeah, exactly.
And you're going, like your intuition's going, something's off track.
Mhm.
Now, unfortunately, you don't really know the right track, but you feel like something's off track. Now, I don't
Mhm.
know if it's happening to you, but it would happen to many. What they would do is they'd start second guessing themselves. And it sounds like you're second guessing yourself.
Yeah, I
Okay.
definitely.
You're not second guessing yourself. Okay.
Mhm.
Your false self is causing you to second guess your authentic self.
Mhm.
You're going, this is what I want to do. This is what's on my heart and mind. This is my passion. But then this whole path that you're on to get to where you want to go, like the road you're going down, as you said, it's a rocky road. You don't like the road you're going down to get to where you want to go.
Mhm.
And then you're doubting yourself.
Yeah.
So let me ask you a question and tell me the truth. When you said you don't really know what you're supposed to do, you do know what you're supposed to do, don't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. And what is that?
Delivering babies into the world.
Delivering baby.
Any way to do it. Yeah.
Exactly. How about you just make up your mind you're going to do what you want to do and you're going to find out a way to do it the way you want to do it?
Mhm. Yeah.
What does that feel like?
It feels right. I can just like you said, my intuition is really strong, but that doesn't mean that I can always accept it and follow it all the time super simply without any stops on the road. And I feel like this is just one of them. And I've been here before and pushed through. So I really think I
Right.
can keep pushing through because it is what I was meant to do, I think.
Well, you actually, let me change that. You're changing mine a little bit. So my job on this show is to change your perspective and create a turning point where I get you looking in a different direction. Okay.
Hmm.
Because the only reason that you're feeling the way you're feeling, you're asking the questions you're asking, you're having the doubts you're having, is because you have a certain perspective. You have biases. You have a viewpoint, and most of the viewpoints that you have you inherited when you were growing up. You've inherited the education system you're now feeling like you're kind of stuck in because that is the way it's laid out. It wasn't always that way.
Hmm.
The current system of education to get you where you want to go, it wasn't always that way. It was made up. Somebody made that shit up.
Hmm.
So I want you to change your mind. I want you to go, I can follow my intuition 100% of the time. And that's what I'm going to do.
Hmm.
Now, what's more risky? Is it more risky to not follow your intuition and kind of go off on the wrong path because of what others might think or the mistakes you might make. Is that a greater risk, or is it better for you to follow your intuition and make mistakes down that path? You're going to make mistakes either way. That's how you learn. What's the best path to go down, and what are the best mistakes to make? The one coming from your heart, your intuition, or the one coming from logic and ego and what everybody else says you should do?
Heart, for sure.
Absolutely. Yeah. How old are you?
21.
All right. And are you living with Mike?
No. Mm-mm.
Okay.
I live on my own.
Okay, good. That's cool.
Yeah.
More young people should live on their own.
I agree.
Well, why don't you go to a different state?
I've been thinking about it, for sure.
You've been thinking about it.
Yeah.
What have you been thinking about?
I've been thinking about going to a state where home birth is more accepted and where there are more opportunities for me to learn from the type of teachers that I want to learn from, not necessarily be placed in a hospital and learn under the same kind of practices that will probably never change.
Yeah. Let me ask another question. Do you understand when I say your authentic self versus your false self? Do you understand the difference?
I think in my heart I do.
Yeah. Yeah, you would in your heart because you're intuitive. You know the truth and you can sense it and feel it. So really quite simply is when you were a little baby, okay, your authentic self, you're made in God's image, you arrive here and your mind is perfect. It operates on an intellectual level, on a spiritual level, on a vibrational level, on an intuitive level, okay? It's perfect. But then you start getting parented. And you go to school and teachers start teaching you stuff and you start operating from your intellect. That's the way we're taught to operate from. Okay. And you get handed all these rules, values, beliefs. This is the way things work. And a lot of that stuff doesn't really fit you, doesn't suit you. And so this false self gets created, or what we call ego. Mm-hmm. And then there's the authentic self, right? So if you could go back and tell all your parents and family and friends and teachers, I'd like you to raise me this way because this is who I am, then you'd be living authentically. Do you get that? Mm-hmm. All right. So we got false self or ego, and we got authentic self. All right. So the part of you that's been thinking about going to another state, okay, is that the ego self causing you to think about it, or is that the authentic self causing you to think about it? Which one's causing you to put off the very idea that your authentic self came up with?
Probably the ego, right?
Yeah.
Telling me I can't move because of certain things.
Exactly. Yeah.
Fears.
So, yeah, fear, right? Mm-hmm. Yeah. All right. So, what's your greatest fear?
Probably being away from my family and my sister, for sure.
Yeah. Yeah. And that's one thing that the sooner you work on, where you get yourself to a point where your cup is filled yourself. With yourself, by yourself, then you don't rely on the emotional connection of others. I'm not saying you want to not have an emotional connection or a spiritual connection, but you don't need it. Mm-hmm. And it doesn't hold you back.
That makes sense.
Because the cool thing is, if you make that kind of a move, listen, you're going to make the move anyway, Kat. I'm just telling you, that's what you're going to do. Okay. You're not going to go off on some tangent. You're very strong. You got a beautiful energy about you. You're very intuitive. You got a big heart, and you're not one to give up.
No,
you're. Yeah, some people might call you stubborn, but you're not stubborn at all. You just
Are you a psychic?
I am. I'm not, but you're very committed to yourself. Like the good news here is your connection to your authentic self is really strong. But there's this outside stuff and relationship stuff and what people think, and it's all the outside stuff that likes to pick away at what you know to be true. Mm-hmm. Now you're 21, you can go anywhere you like. Yeah. When you do this, you're going to gain so much power and confidence, and then you're going to go, I'm on the right path, and it fills you up. You want your cup filled up. Just keep sticking to being yourself, and you'll discover you already are full. Mm-hmm. Okay.
Thank you.
What's that?
Thank you.
What do you think of all that?
It just makes a lot of sense. Comes
It makes a lot
together.
of sense.
It,
And why do you think it makes a lot of sense?
because it's coming from the authentic heart space.
Which means it must be what?
True.
True.
The right thing to
Exactly. And that's how you know.
do. Mm-hmm.
That's how you always know the truth.
Yeah.
And what's cool about you, what you're doing right now, so you're helping a lot of people right now, Kat, a lot. I don't know how many people are on here right now, and I don't know how many people are going to watch the recording, but you are leading people right now, and there's people going, oh, I wish I could do what Kat's doing, you know?
Yeah.
And I'm really proud of you that you came on here, and
Thanks for talking.
I would just keep getting your pen out, and I would keep reinforcing in writing what you already know to be true. And so the key is just follow the feeling,
Mm-hmm.
and if it feels good, that's the truth. That's the path to follow.
Yeah.
Right now, you got to remember something too. I want to teach you one little thing for everybody here. There's a thing called the law of opposites. Do you understand what that is?
No.
Okay. So most people don't know them at this stage. Or even, I didn't really know them until 6 or 7 years ago. But there are universal laws that govern this universe. Okay. Some you're familiar with. You're familiar with this one. Okay. That doesn't fall down, it falls up. Okay. Well, there's a law called the law of opposites. And anytime a positive shows up, a positive idea, a positive thought, a positive desire, whatever you want to do, by law, the negative has to show up. Okay? It has to occupy the same space. Okay? Think of a magnet. You wouldn't have a magnet without a negative polarity and a positive polarity.
Right.
A battery wouldn't work unless it had a positive pole and a negative pole. All right? But the law of for a left, there has to be a right. For an up, there has to be a down. So when you start thinking positively what you want, just pay attention. By law, the negative is going to show up.
Mm-hmm.
And then you run the risk of entertaining the negative thoughts.
Yeah, I always do. And then a lot of the time that's what changes my mind.
Exactly. Well, that's not what changed your mind. Let me tell you what changed your mind. Okay? Here's what happens. And this is how freaking simple it is. Okay? The whole creation of your fear is caused by one simple thing: indecision. Okay? So you get an idea from your heart, okay? And you go, I should move to another state. That's what I could do. I can go to another state and I can do this my way. But then you don't decide to do it. The idea comes to you through your intuition. Sometimes you get those ideas, you get a little bit of a buzz.
Mm-hmm.
You get a vibe. Okay, that's the universe and God talking to you. They're going, Kat, hey, Kat, you should move to another state. You could do it your own way. Right? It's like, hey, Kat. But then what you do is you go, let me think about it. Now, the beautiful thing about God is he gives you free will. You can do whatever you want. He's not going to judge you if you don't follow the idea he gave you. And the universe just sits back and we'll do whatever you want, Kat. Just let us know what you want to do. And so you don't decide to do it. And so what indecision does is when you start to think about it, it creates doubt. Okay? And the more you think about it, your intellect, your reasoning mind takes over. It hijacks your heart and your intuition and your soul, and it starts making shit up.
Mm-hmm.
And the more you put it off, the more doubt you create, and they blend together to become fear, and you're stuck. Mm-hmm. So the magic pill is called decision. When you get an idea, check the feeling, mm-hmm. and if it feels good, act on it right away. Just do something, one thing. Call somebody, email somebody, go online, fill out a form, get a hold of a school. Just act. That's it. And there's no more to it. Like when I finally understood fear, mm-hmm. I was able to really frickin' lighten up.